Brosplay! Welcome back. Yeah, we try to watch Final Space and eat at the same time, and it's totally fine for my girlfriend, because she just thinks it's funny. But I think it's hilarious sometimes, so I'm trying to eat and not lose food out of my mouth at the same time.
I don't have that problem.
You've never watched a show that's laugh out loud funny while you're eating?
No.
No?
No. Also, I don't really laugh with my mouth when I'm alone.
I'm also with another person, right?
I do the thing.
Well, that sounded painful, actually.
I might have just given myself hiccups.
I don't know if that was an enjoyable thing to do. Why did you go flying to the right?
Because it's a Django reference.
Or maybe it's a JFK reference.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Political.
You know what's really weird about, I guess, the public, is that they're totally cool with really fucked up concepts being in their radio songs. Like Santeria?
Oh, people don't listen to the words.
That's what I mean. It's in, like, people are like, there's that whole constant half joke, half statement about like how people just aren't paying attention and calling them sheeple and all that kind of stuff. But really, like, the majority of people really are just kind of droning through life. They're really not paying attention. They're just happy to like make it home at the end of the day. And
yeah, I've noticed that. I've always sort of wondered sometimes like why it seems easy for other people. I'm like, man, why it just, I don't know what it is. Like I must just be crazy, but for some reason it seems easy for everyone else. But it's like, no, we do more. You know, we work our job and then we go home and try and have creative juices left over to record a show.
We're also bothered by things like frame rate and bad writing, and you know, it's like most people are like, it's fine, whatever. Like,
yeah,
I'm slowly turning Jake into that guy that cares about stuff like that.
Well, and that's what we do, dude. Have you ever noticed that? We tend to infect people with this over-attention to things. Like, for example, you have already infected me with your over-attention to mouth noises.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that I can hear it all the time. While people are talking, I can hear it when I'm listening to other people's content. I hear it everywhere. The only place I don't hear it is professionally recorded movies and TV.
And it's still in there.
It's in there. Oh, dude, I hear it every now and then.
A very common issue with television, especially like stuff that's filmed outside, is that you have to deal with the audio sometimes, right? You can get a street as quiet as possible, but there's still always going to be background noise. And so one thing that they do is they use a denoiser, but only on the parts. Like if you use too much denoiser, it modulates the actual audio. So what they do is they reduce the sound as much as they can, and then they use like they manually lower the sound when they aren't speaking, so that the only time there's like a background fuzz is the exact seconds where someone is talking,
which is the most important parts.
Well, I mean, it works for the most part, but if you listen for it, it's like every time they speak, it's a little,
and that's almost the ambient sound,
almost like someone is like brushing like their like against like a denim jacket. It's just like a shh, shh, shh. It's very annoying once you noticed it, so sorry if you noticed it now.
Interesting.
Dexter has that. There's actually a TV you can hear in the background.
Really?
Yeah. Anytime there's a CRT television in the background of like the early Dexter seasons, you can actually hear it in the room, which is really cool because most of the time nowadays stuff like that is not actually happening in the room. It's a
green screen, yeah.
Yeah, and they like threw it in the background.
Weird, yeah, and that's one of those sounds that's really hard to pick up on, but once you start to notice it, it's really there.
Oh, that was a bounce. Oh, I was down here. What the fuck?
Kaboom!
And that, actually, so I'm really, really into editorial style videos, as evident by Mitch Show and how often I talk about Russian Badger and JonTron. And I'm always down for new ones because the good ones don't make a lot. So I am caught up way faster than they could make it. So I'm always looking for new people. And the fastest way you can get me to stop watching your editorial video is if you don't know how to level your microphone. if you're either way too fucking quiet or too loud, or you just like slurp in the microphone, that kind of thing is so easy to take out. The only reason why you don't do it is because you don't notice it or care. So that to me just means that you're not ready.
Yeah, well, and also not getting to the point is a really, really easy way to turn people off.
Yeah, cut it out. Like, and I don't. That's, I guess it's not intended as a pun.
Cut it out.
It's not intended as a pun, but I guess it is. Like, don't make an overly long intro. Like, a minute should probably be the maximum on explaining why it is that you're discussing the issue, right?
Even then, I don't know if it should. Well, it depends what the thing is. If you're doing an editorial video that's really straightforward and like basically self-explanatory in the name, you don't need to take a minute. You need to take like 15 seconds and then start talking.
You don't really need to even explain why it is you're doing it.
No, people came here because they know what you're doing, and if they don't know what you're doing, that means you misled them. So that's your fault.
The beginning of my my Tomb Raider video was initially like over a minute of me explaining why it is that I wanted to discuss it, before realizing that the only reason I should even bring this up is for a joke, and so that was all it was.
Yeah, because
like, my buddy said this thing, and then joke.
Right.
And then moving on.
Because at the end of the day, no one actually gives a shit why.
No.
If they wanted to know why, they would listen to your behind the scenes type crap when you do a podcast about it.
Fucking crap.
That was meant to be I don't know if pejorative is the right word, but it was meant to just be a generic term. I don't know what that word means, pejorative.
Pejorative? Yeah, it means it means the large.
Okay, so then yeah, those are supposed to just be a pejorative.
Are you seeing that? He did the circle test.
The circle test? What does that mean?
It's when you find out what your character can do when you do a spin.
Okay, yeah.
This is the circle test?
Oh, I do lots of circle tests.
So like when we did the Hitman, you were able to spin without the character animating at all. And that's what he did. He did a full circle test without animating, trying to find the sticky bomb.
Nice.
That's pretty funny.
Is it on me? Is it on me?
Oh,
is it on me?
I'm supposed to take the thing. Do you remember Red versus Blue?
Yeah.
And the sticky grenade gets on
I
them?
do remember the sticky grenade, and they can't figure out what it is.
Is it a spider? It's a glowing blue.
Is it a spider? I forgot about that. Oh my god. Red versus Blue was good, man.
Yeah.
They had a very unique style.
They like started the concept. It became known as a machinima, to make a style of like when you get characters to speak. It's called a machinima.
Yeah, and then isn't there like a company, Machinima?
Yeah, they're called machinima. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. They're the ones that made that.
Yeah, they made Red versus Blue. Yeah.
Oh,
see, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you have so many points.
I have 10,000. Okay, let's see what I have after upgrading everything and buying everything.
That's it. You've already bought everything.
Yep, I still have 9K, and I haven't even been picking them all up. And part of that's been because I've been using my pistol. But look how easy it is, though. It's actually, in my opinion, a better weapon. Like your assault rifle is just more reliable, I guess.
No, it just has more bullets. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of sad that it's not designed to be a better weapon. It's just designed to be a more voluminous weapon.
Voluminous.
Yeah. You know, volume and stuff.
Voluminous?
Yeah. Voluminous. That's what I want to call it from now on. See how people look at me.
Jumpies? Fucking... What?
What was that? I'm really not impressed with these enemies most of the time. You got a lot of really nice headshots, though.
Thank you. To bring up, like, to quote another line by myself, and that Nord is so late on the draw, my goodness.
Yeah, they're all really dumb, and I appreciate what you're saying about them not being able to see, but they're just very dumb.
That guy knew I was there.
The breathing is kind of funny.
I love it.
It's so constant.
Good shots, boys. I wasn't even moving.
They really remind me of Stormtroopers.
Oh my god, I had one of those moments in Siege, one of those, like, he's tied to a chair moments, you know? There's a character that has decoys that can't move, right? And I know that. And I'm like, Jake, he's right there under the ladder. And Jake's like, where? Jake sees the decoy. He knows that it's not the person. And I'm like, right there. And he's like, mark him. And I'm like, I can't. Afterwards, I'm like, man, like, why was that guy just like standing still?
Dude, that is so funny. I forgot about that scene in The Simpsons. I feel like that was a really good sort of valid knock at how blind some people can be.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's the kidnapper right there. It's such a great shot. He's tied to a chair. Oh my god.
I've been watching a lot of Flashpoints. So the whole hostage thing has been like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's just like some of the laziest writing in that style of television. That 22 episode a season television show.
Yeah, well, we can't blow all of our stories right off the bat. We gotta spread them out and make sure we get paid weekly.
Well, the thing is, like, because they're so long and there's so many episodes, they had time to build each story, but they just chose not to. And there's like unnecessary shit. Like, there's a scene, I swear they like cut a whole scene out where, like, at the end, Jules is all like upset, and the guy's like, hey man, I'll walk you home, and she's like, I just need to be alone right now. And I'm like, did I miss something? Like, where did she fail? What happened there? Like, clearly it wasn't even close to what they intended, because I didn't even notice anything happen that didn't go well. Everything, like, nobody died, everybody lived, the bad guys were apprehended. It was like, it was like a perfect scenario, and it was like, what is she complaining about? Because they must have just like removed a whole scene or something.
Oh, that we just missed.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
And then I actually just noticed a scene thing in that Russian Badger video we were just watching, Let Me Smash, where he talks about the guy's weapons and then he talks about them again, but almost like he hasn't talked about them the first time.
I did notice that. It was almost like he was like just completely disregarding his first statement.
Yeah. Which is like, it's really easy to do when you're creating a video like that, to like talk too many times or not enough about something.
Yeah, and lose sight of how much, like, what's coming through in the final draft.
Final draft, oh my god. The amount of times that I watched that, what is happening? Is that a damage drop off? That must be a damage drop off. The amount of times I watched the Battlefront 2 video over, like, in full before it came out was ridiculous.
Man, half an hour video.
Yep.
Something I've been thinking about recently when it comes to really any content, but mostly movies, is I used to think that things could be rated out of 10, but then the problem was there ended up being all this stuff grouped up around 10, and all this stuff grouped down around, like, 3.
Yep.
And this stuff grouped at, like, 7. So what I started to think is it almost feels to me more like, rather than trying to rate movies or even rank movies, it makes more sense to tier them. So in your top tier, you've got the Pulp Fiction, Dark Knight, like those types of movies, ones that are so exceptional that they're truly amazing and are generally agreed upon to be amazing. And then there's the other movies that are pretty damn good, like the Infinity War movies. They're pretty damn good, but they're not amazing. There's definitely problems with them. They could be better. And then there's all other movies, and those ones aren't worth watching.
The way that you were describing the numbers, where you were like, it's either 2, 7, or 10. If you take the 2 part out, we call it IGN.
Yeah, pretty much. This game is a 9.5 out of 10. But you said there was frame rate issues and that the game wouldn't save properly. Yeah, but it looked really good.
There was like, remember that Donkey video about critics?
Yeah.
And he was like, just an overall disappointing entry to the series. 9 out of 10. What? And that's the issue with rating with a number, is that, are you rating it based on what it could be for someone versus what it is for you? Are you rating on what it would be if it didn't have its glitching issues?
Are you rating it on on your preference, or are you rating it on the empirical factors? One of the big issues with really anything is that it's all about people. If the person is good and has a good opinion that you believe in, their reviews will be helpful to you. But if the person doesn't, then you're just kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Because he was pointing out that if you go to IGN, it's not, IGN run by Kyle, and Kyle does all of the reviews. It's a whole mishmash of people.
It's Ryan McChicken Nuggets.
Ryan McChicken Nuggets.
Yeah.
That's him, eh? The guy who writes them all.
That's him, eh?
I listened to a podcast with Macaulay Culkin. He was
really?
Yeah, he was on with Joe Rogan.
Wow.
And he has this
Have to check that out.
he has this new website called Bunny Ears that's supposed to be kind of like The Onion, but like more lifestyle related. And so apparently they wrote one article that I thought sounded really interesting. It's all about Infinity War, the second one where Thanos has the plan to eliminate everybody, turn them to dust.
Half, actually.
Exactly. If you wait too long, half of the words will just vanish to dust, and you have to reload the story if you want to read the rest.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was thinking how awesome that is because you can't do that in traditional media. You can't have a book that changes itself. But an online article, that's actually pretty easy.
That's really neat. Have you seen that parody video he did where he plays Kevin McAllister as an adult and he's talking to his cab driver and he's like, they fucking left me. Like, how do you fucking forget your child when you're going to vacation? Like, you know how traumatizing that shit is? I defended myself from these professional robbers, adults. It's fucking great.
Twice.
God, this is just so well designed. You know, when I think about like top 10,
yeah. Use your head as an aimer.
When I look when I look up top 10 best game design things on WatchMojo.com, this is number one. Number one.
Number 1, Rogue Troopers dumb head placement. Number 2, Rogue Troopers auto snap to cover. Number 3,
oh, no,
Dark
dude.
Messiah's lighting.
Okay, yeah, Dark Messiah. I mean, they did tell you it was a dark game, right, in the name?
That's true. That's true. But they also said that you would be
I'm sorry.
just executed that guy.
I just came up with a really good joke. And now I'm hyping it. So
yeah, now you're hyping it. Now you have to say it. Pressure.
They did, in fairness, they did warn us that the game would be a dark mess.
The dark mess, yeah. But they also...
It actually is.
They also promised that there would be magic, might, and elements. And you cannot do all of those things. Ours was not even... We didn't even really have much might. I just kind of felt like we were scratching at people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It was very interesting for the first few levels, and then it fell off pretty hard.
When the game had intricate garbage, it was really fun. As soon as it started to be like this really like open-ended garbage, that's when it was, and like we didn't know where the fuck we were going.
Yeah, the game wasn't laid out well, and I can play a game that's gonna be like that, where it's gonna be kind of crappy, as long as I know I'm progressing. But when you're wandering around in a crappy game, nothing discourages you more. Just, where do I go? Do I even care to find out where I go?
Yeah, the whole where do I fucking go point in Sequelitis is like cannot be understated how often that happens in games.
And conveyance is so... this is actually really funny how this is happening right now.
Love these guys.
But I guarantee you have to go to that yellow dot.
They have no objective.
No, they're just following you.
Like
See if you can get one to go over that wall.
Oh my god.
They're like lemmings.
The longer I do this, the funnier it is to me. Because they're not saying anything. They're like animals.
It would be funny if every time they moved, they said something like mobilizing. Following you.
Okay, alright. Moving on. Oops, sorry.
Oh, that was rude.
I didn't know that you could do that. Oh, that's really cool.
What? It's, don't do that.
I'm just curious.
It's the same as, I think, most friendly fire games. If you're aiming straight at them, it won't let you. But if you aim sort of half on, half off, it'll work. It's actually amazing how much punishment that guy was able to take.
Why?
I think you gotta go down.
No, this is it. I think I have to. Yeah. All right.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
Dude, they're really hustling.
Yeah, now they're moving. Now they're waiting for me.
Oh man, you guys not the sharpest knives, huh?
Oh boy.
And now the train is in motion and there's Nords?
Yeah.
And you jumped right off the end of the platform? See, this actually reminds me of the Gotham episode I just watched, where it feels like they just jump from one scene to the next without any actual description of what happened.
And it's okay in this situation.
You walked around the corner and next thing you know, all of your guys were on the train, or did you skip something?
No, I didn't skip anything.
So yeah, you walked around the corner, Nords were just suddenly behind you.
Yeah.
All of your guys were on the train, and you got off at the very end of the platform. They didn't build any suspense. They just jumped straight to the highlight.
Which is very likely why Rebellion moved towards a more technical, gameplay-oriented series.
Oh, when they went into Sniper Elite.
Yeah.
Well, can I just point out about this train, though? That it runs on a track that's like a hole.
It's a divot, yeah.
But this is a desert planet, so that divot would fill with sand in
Yeah.
about a day.
Unless it's like magnet and then like the stuff is made of
Yeah,
metal.
all of the sand is actually magnetic, and they have like ways of keeping it out.
I love these characters because they are all females and they scream every single time
And
something
they
happens.
fall really shitty.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's a Family Guy fall. They fall faster than they should.
Listen to them though; they're terrifying.
They're pretty terrifying. Like banshees.
That's actually the exact word that I would come up with.
She's wailing like a banshee. These things are pretty badass.
I didn't
These
finish
tauntaun
my
things.
statement about songs on the radio. Santeria is, you know why Santeria is called Santeria?
Because Santeria is some sort of practice.
No, because he doesn't practice Santeria.
Well, what is Santeria?
That's the first line of the song.
I don't practice Santeria.
I ain't got no crystal ball. Well,
I got $1 million,
You
but
could have named the song $1 million. Or spent it all.
I probably could have called it Spent It All. And then they have... Is the song called Date Rape by Sublime?
I don't think it's...
No, it's not. It's called
he
something
says
else.
that. Like, he calls it the Date Rape song or something.
Yeah, in the actual song. But I forget what it's about. But I think our grandmother even said that she liked it because she just had no idea what it was about.
Yeah. Oh, it's a groovy tune. Everything by Sublime
Groovy
is.
tune.
But like, it's so funny how like there's so many people in our society that don't. They're like, drugs are bad, and I can't believe that marijuana is gonna be legal. It's just crazy. And they're the same people who listen to "They didn't wanna get back and cocaine." It's like you're okay with it there.
Okay,
but
okay,
not with
that
the reality
song is
of
an
cocaine.
exception. I like that
No,
song.
I like that song too.
Oh, but what you're saying is people like that song, but they're also not okay with
Yes.
drugs?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Is like they're okay with it being done and right. Did you see that? Did you see what was happening with my character? Yeah, right here. There's a spot where I can go where he like doesn't know what to do and he spins around. There, you see that?
Yeah, there's a lot of janky character model movements.
Yes, it was right there. I think I found it. Come on.
Yeah.
I think there's a cover spot. I think that's what's happening.
I was having a conversation with someone about the legalization coming up in Canada.
October?
Yeah, something like that. But I just remember her saying, she said, so people are just gonna start showing up to work high.
Right.
And I said
The
to
way
her,
that they do drunk.
I said, people already go to work high.
Yeah.
And yeah, what you said, people don't go to work drunk just because alcohol's legal.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, the children.
And
It's
she
like,
said-
yeah, alcohol is also around children.
She
a
said
lot.
there's no roadside screening for it. And I said, well I didn't
There
say
is,
this.
actually.
They say they have a swab. I don't know how well it works.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking was, there's no roadside test for you being fucking tired either.
Or squabbling with your
Yeah.
family.
There's no roadside test for distracted driving. Like, certain things you just got to figure out.
Also, is it okay to talk on your phone with the headset?
Yes, hands-free devices.
No, I mean like if you had like like earbuds, like in earbuds, and you had one in that had the microphone on it, is that considered hands-free? Because that one feels like it really shouldn't be.
That's where it gets sketchy because you're not allowed to have earphones in.
Right.
You're not allowed to plug your ears. So no,
sure.
that would not be valid.
No.
However, let's say you had it like hanging from your ear and you could still hear it, that would be valid.
Okay.
If as long as it's not in your ear, preventing you from hearing.
Which would be very difficult to enforce.
Oh, it's pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny, which like Corey Taylor had a great bit too about it, and he's like every one of your idols was on drugs, every one of them. Like all of the musicians, all of the people that you saw on television.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the idea that only bad people do drugs is the stupidest idea in the world. It's completely antiquated. It's never been true. Ever since ancient times, it's just never been true. In fact, I don't know about the science, but the popular culture definitely points towards the idea that people are better when they have drug experiences than when they don't.
Oh, it opens the eyes, man.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about methamphetamine. There's really not a whole lot of medicinal purpose behind that one.
No.
But you know what I mean. There's a lot of drugs that are super beneficial to people.
Well, and there's also drugs that are just like totally cool. Like people are so okay with cigarettes. Like I know we have laws about where you can smoke them, but like nobody looks at the guy. Like if you've ever known smokers or work with them, if you're gonna drive somewhere, they have a cigarette before they go, and then if you stop anywhere, cigarette, and then when they get there, cigarette, and then if you take a break, cigarette, and nobody looks at that guy like he's a fucking fiend on a drug because it's an entirely acceptable drug.
Oh, it's the same as sugar. They're on the same level as far as I'm concerned.
It's rude to tell somebody that they're too addicted to sugar.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's even rude to point out that someone smokes too much. I still personally don't think you should be allowed to smoke cigarettes in a moving vehicle. Period.
Yeah.
I really think that
should
makes the most sense.
That should fall under the distracted driving thing. It's totally a distraction.
Well, also, why are you consuming a drug while you're driving?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
And I've talked to people who smoke cigarettes. It most certainly does affect your mind state. It's not exactly a high, but it definitely has an effect.
Yeah, and that's the problem. What are we defining as a high? A high is something that affects your mental state. So if it affects your mental state, you're getting high on it.
Also,
you can call it a head rush, you can call it a buzz, but you're getting high.
This has always bugged me, but there's a red dot on the radar and it never goes away. And it was on the original version of the game too.
Oh, that's the ship itself or something.
Yeah. It's like how they put them... Look at this, they're shooting through the fucking walls because you're supposed to be on the turret.
That's so dumb.
And now I have to buy med packs.
And hope you don't. Well then. Oh, thank you for joining us. Next time med packs, I suppose.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh man.